Okay. All right. Sagittarius. Press like, subscribe, notification. I like to tell unique stories. You can find me on TikTok, Lizzie the High Priestess. You can find me in other places. If you know, you know. Sagittarius, I get the world, Lord, the cosmos, communication, praise, dishonesty, the cosmos, creativity, vastness. You do know there's a lot of people upon the ethers that their job is to manipulate and to distract and to destroy. They could do the same thing we do on uplifting people, but their job is not to uplift. Their job is to do the opposite. This is kind of like figuring out a way to scare some person, like Monsters Inc. If you realize you're under a movie called Monsters Inc., how do we teach monsters to love? The hungry ghosts. The hungry ghost. Obsessions. Scarcity. Consciousness. Attachment. This probably somebody, we could be touching down on the topic about when people have demons attached to them. It's a real thing. And then we'll go on to speaking on certain situations such as schizophrenia. People have said that they feel like schizophrenia is people who talk to demons. Other people just say it's a certain condition. You could take certain medications to calm you down. And then there's different levels of schizophrenia, I guess. And schizophrenia has been a big topic, I guess, lately. Apparently, I guess it's my calling to talk about it. I'm not no doctor, and I don't diagnose. I'm just saying that this is kind of like, I'm not lying about this. In the spiritual world, when some people look at schizophrenia as a gift, because even though it's demons that are attached to you, or it's demons that you're talking to, demons can tell you things that they see that's in hell. And the fact that it can see certain things, it can tell us certain situations that are going to arise that prepare you to be able to handle a demon. And you can't really talk to everybody about demons, my love, because they start to act like something is entering them. And then I think to myself, doesn't this remind you of like a demon slayer type of thing? You know what I'm saying? And it even looks like what is it called? The needles, the IV connection. I actually think the IV connection is like this. I believe it's this way. Someone could be going to nursing school or something. There's certain tools, even if you're not going to nursing, dental, anything like that, there's certain objects that have certain names. Also a fine print. Also, this is like a spectrum. All right. What level? I thought this was neat. So I was working on a garden, right? And I ran across a big old branch like this, and I was like, man, if I fall into this, it'd be the last of me. So I started to pick them off, and I was like, and they're still strong. They're dry. Also science. Science, 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 science. Or, and okay, so I'm looking at this card, right? Look at the card. She's brown, right? And this is the color brown. And then right behind her is a knife. And this is like good enough as a knife. You can learn to exercise your demons to where, and look, there's the fire behind them. Fuck, man. Sometimes I don't want to give certain information out because I'd be like, shit, people aren't worthy of the information. And I get an idiot that tries to talk shit to me, and I'll be like, you ruined it for everyone. The hungry ghost. You could use this and manipulate it to where you use these hungry ghosts to create chaos like Monsters Inc., except their place of dwelling to scare you is the internet. It's the internet. You can lie, you could become somebody else when you're on the internet. You could, they say that words, stick and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt me or whatever. I don't know. People constantly say that, right? But do you know you can make a paper really sharp? Have you ever gotten a paper cut? How thin it is and how it goes through your skin and how it stings. So I beg to differ. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can hurt you. Put these words on a piece of paper, and then somehow, some way, the piece of paper itself and the act of it. How many times there has been stories, movies that they talk about selling your soul, right? And one of the main things that they need is something very sharp and a piece of paper. And then everyone has gotten their little ghost or their little demon, however it was meant to come to them, because they say it comes to people who are going to be they're very important people who have some kind of discipline. And it tends to come to people when they're young. You got to be mindful of the children because they're growing up. And if you see these youngins acting out of control, it's because they have something in their ear, attachments. Now, it's crazy that I can smile at you and tell you all these deep things, but there's a lot of stories that you watch on the movies, especially Disney, and they talk about these children that carry demons, and their little demons are like a cat, a caterpillar, and it's like a Pokemon. And you use them for your benefit, just like people use cats and dogs and reptiles and stuff like that. They will call those demons. In movies, there was such a movie where they had that, and then they were able to command their little demons to do things such as a cat. So I believe that there's like, bear with me. Sometimes in life, certain things seem really dark and then they turn into light. A certain individual had to be in a very fucked up place, doing fucked up things, to be the hero of the situation or saving somebody's life. Shit like that, you understand me? For example, let's say a good cop, right? You come across a good cop, they might not take you to jail because they caught you smoking or something. But they will take you to jail if they catch you really breaking the law, you know? And I feel like to be in the position of a good cop, I'm speaking on a good cop, to make those kind of judgment calls, you gotta understand the extent of somebody's demons. In other words, somebody's crimes, intentions, and stuff like that. You have to be able to have that power of discernment to decipher if you want to lock him up. Because if we're dealing with the law, you're not going to be over there doing some spiritual work. You're going to lock him up. What was it? There was this one movie with Denzel Washington. And the one with Denzel Washington, he was trying to capture a spirit that kept jumping from person to person to person. And it will make them commit certain acts. So it is very true that our bodies are a vessel, and we have to be careful what we allow into our vessel. Now, certain people have open knowledge or sacred knowledge about certain things that you say when something's trying to jump into your body. Now, biblical times, and even before biblical times, in a lot of history, they will tell you about stories when there was a jumping spirit in the crowd. One, for example, is when they started to beat on Jesus. He said that the devil was whispering in people's ears, and then it caused the whole frenzy. My throat's closing up, and I'm going past my time. I just want you to know that you have to go and seek that type of knowledge if you don't want certain things to enter you. Also, I feel like it could be something with your bloodline, your ancestors, and stuff that help you determine the type of spirits that speak to you. Because technically, according to biblical times, our flesh is a demon. And when you realize that when it hits you in the chest, you start seeing things different. You have to learn to tame the beast. And I'm going to leave it alone.